Welcome back into the basement. It is Bash in the Basement, week 2 here. Starcade Media proudly presenting, and I'm your host, Clint Schweitzer, aka Mr. Electricity, aka the Alex Smith of wrestling figure collecting. And my partner here is Josh Heupel from the University of Tennessee. Did not expect that, did not advertise this.
Good to be here with you. Great season last year, looking to get after those Georgia Bulldogs in 2023.
Whoa, you're I don't know if you're preemptively trying to like suck up to our guests coming up. Tim Love, who's a big Tennessee Volunteer fan, which I don't know if I can buy it. The guy's from Texas, Fort Worth, Texas guy, and he's like
Tennessee. So we're gonna have to ask him about those battle lines where he draws a line in the sand with Texas going over to the SEC next year.
Yeah, guys, big show here as we're gonna be joined. This is for all the picky eaters out there and for all you foodies. We're all uniting as one here on this show because celebrity chef Tim Love is going to be joining us here in just a few moments to talk about an interview that we did back at Radio Row in Los Angeles last year at the Super Bowl. Tim's a part of the Taste of the NFL, which is a tremendous program that provides nutrition and meals for children, which is great. And we had him on to talk about food and like he's this famous chef and he's got restaurants all around the Dallas, Fort Worth area. And he couldn't believe he'd never met anybody like these two here at Starcade Media. The Picky Eaters Club. Noah, you're more so than me, but I'm up there on the scale of 1 to 10. I'm like a 6. You're a 10.
Yeah.
So it's time to own it. We're going to talk about it right here with Tim Love in just a few moments.
Absolutely. We just can't be out there eating stuff with onions all over it. And when did McDonald's make the switch over? When I was a kid, I just ordered a cheeseburger and it came plain. Now I have to order it without onions, and they work at McDonald's, so they don't really care. So 50% of the time it does come with onions. I digress. I don't want to go off on an onion tangent. I'll save that for Tim.
What kid in America wants to unwrap a McDonald's cheeseburger?
Not this one.
And have onions all over it. I mean, that's the default ordering option is onions on a cheeseburger. And I don't know when the switch happened. Probably somewhere around the time they took away the Hamburglar, Ronald McDonald, and the Grimace. That's probably around the time they started putting onions on a burger by default.
And they tell you just to scrape them off. My mom would always tell me that. Just scrape them off. Like the juices from the onions seeped into the bun and the patty, and it's already ruined. It's way too far gone.
Well, we're going to talk about that, and this is our show, Bashed in the Basement, the podcast. If you're so inclined, will be available on Thursday. That's where you can get it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all the podcast apps. But if you're joining us right here live, we welcome you and we appreciate you for being here because we've got a bevy of topics. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're here. The NFL draft is in Kansas City in just a few weeks. The UConn men's basketball team, fresh off of a national championship victory. Now what? More exciting Final Four, women's or men this year? There's an obvious answer here. Please don't deviate from it.
Women's? Is that the answer we're looking for here?
It is not. So you've lost. You're out.
It was a 50-50 shot. I'm really bad at those.
Viewership just dropped 50% during that little exchange. Obviously, people watch the UConn men dominate their way, double-digit victories all through the NCAA tournament, culminating in a kind of a, well, let's call it a snore fest against San Diego State. I know the Aztecs cut it to 6 in the second half, late in the second half, but UConn pulls away. We're here to anoint them as college basketball royalty right here. 5 championships in 25 years, royalty, blue blood, all of it for UConn, even though they take random years off. You're shaking your head no, and I'm horrified.
Blood when you take a bunch of years off and you're bad, and then you just come back for a championship run. We'll see if they can sustain this or they go into hiding again for another decade. We'll see what UConn has in store. Obviously, on the women's side, since that seems to be something you want to talk about, Gino Auriemma and the women's Huskies, they're a blue blood over there, and they're a dominant program. The men's side, not so much.
WrestleMania fallout. Cody Rhodes does not win the Universal Championship over Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. Huge miss. What happened here? 2 days of WrestleMania. I've never seen a setting, and I didn't watch every single match from WrestleMania. It's a lot going on and a lot I can't relate to, and too many days, too much going on. But Cody Rhodes, that buildup, that crowd, I don't know that I've ever seen a crowd, maybe like for Bill Goldberg at Monday Nitro in July of 98 when he beat Hollywood Hogan,
Yeah.
that jacked up to witness a title change and that it doesn't happen.
I
Who?
think they're wanting to keep this Roman Reigns thing going and just to get him the record for title reign. And he's almost to 1,000 days now. And then you see like the following night on Raw, everyone's saying it was one of the worst after WrestleMania Raws ever. And apparently Vince McMahon's back and he's in charge. People are saying Triple H went out there, cut a promo that kind of said goodbye. Like everyone's kind of reading into that he's saying goodbye. Vince McMahon's back in this driver's seat of WWE. And Brock Lesnar came out. It was supposed to be Roman Reigns and his partner versus Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. And Brock turns on Cody Rhodes and gives him a bunch of F5s and just does 5 minutes of damage on him. So that's apparently going to be a new storyline, Brock versus Cody Rhodes. And we'll see where that goes. But Vince McMahon's back and people say that's doom for the company.
Well,
again.
the company's been sold to Endeavor, which is the parent company from UFC. There's like this merger going on. What will Vince's role be from here? I heard one Endeavor representative say, well, we wouldn't have done this if it wasn't to bring Vince McMahon into the fold as the main guy. And obviously Triple H. I kind of like the idea of a Brock Lesnar heel turn and like Cody Rhodes now the chase. Now he's got to like, oh, now I got to get through like Brock Lesnar to get back into the fold of the championship hunt.
Speculating maybe this is how they split up the belts off Roman Reigns. Eventually Brock gets one, Cody gets one. And
I don't know. I don't like split up belts. I don't like a lot that goes on in WWE. It is a really hot right now, the product. It's not something that I invest a ton of time in, but when WrestleMania season rolls around, dating me back to my days of renting WrestleMania 5 from Aardvark Video in Clinton, Missouri, is one of my first memories of life. To now, it just doesn't quite add up. You see my Mega Powers shirt on here. That's when the Mega Powers exploded at WrestleMania 5 in Atlantic City at Trump Plaza. So I don't know. SoFi Stadium, WrestleMania seemed like a big hit. I don't know. It didn't quite compute with me, the whole thing. It's a lot and a lot of storylines I just don't know. But Cody Rhodes, I am a fan. I will say he's probably my favorite wrestler going today. Fair enough. What, agree, disagree with that?
Yeah, I would have said it's Jericho. I haven't been keeping up with AEW to know what's kind of going on with Jericho lately. But right now, yeah, I think it's got to be Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as we kind of await the appearance of Tim Love, no, I want to kind of take it back because we did a podcast that was an audio show called Breaking Norms, in which we kind of shared our stories and our journey from, just people that wanted to be involved in sports media and entertainment and things that we loved. And now that we are able to do that, it's a wonderful feeling. But we kind of took you through an odyssey on Breaking Norms, which chronicled our, some of our things, everything from online dating stories to how much we hate paying taxes and trying to park in parking garages.
Mishaps. Yeah, exactly.
It also included food and how we have these certain quirks and things like that. I want you to take our viewers here on this little journey about the time that you were confronted with horseradish sauce for the first time.
Ooh. Yeah, this could kind of go with an online dating story because that's how it happened. Was talking to this girl. She wanted to meet downtown, says, oh, it's just like Applebee's. So I go downtown. First of all, I have to drive around the place 6 times, trying to find a place to park, and finally found a spot. Didn't know if it was legal or not. I was just tired of driving in circles. And so I go into the restaurant. I'm looking at this, and it's just squid and oysters and stuff on a half shell. And I guess nothing. I'm just, water's good. We're just going to sit here. She's like, oh, get cheese curds and horseradish sauce. I was like, cheese. I do like cheese. I'm not sure about the curd part. Cheese curds. I'm not sure about the sauce. And I got the cheese curds. I was just eating those. It was fine. Then she's like, try the horseradish sauce. Dip it in there. I do it. And it is the worst tasting thing I've ever put in my mouth. And a reason that just solidifies me being a picky eater and just sticking to what I know that's good and not venturing out, because if I ever put anything in my mouth that tastes that bad again, then I have gone astray. I have ventured off a path that I do not want to be on.
I feel for you. I don't know that I've ever had horseradish sauce. I can't imagine.
I was like, am I going to throw up right here in this restaurant in the middle of this date? And There
And
wasn't
like that is a thing where like women have become such foodies for some reason. Like the term hangry was developed because of women and the way they get when they're not eating. I could go all day and not really eat. I didn't grow up with food much. Like I just going to McDonald's was like a big deal growing up in a small town in Clinton, Missouri. I don't know. We were fed chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese. I'm sorry. That's how it was. I wasn't really a big food person, but
No, my
women
family would make different
are.
things and fruit salad and coleslaw, and I just sit there at the dinner table looking at it like, I don't, and like my mom would be like, "Are you not going to eat? Okay, I'll make you whatever you want, grilled cheese." Okay, and then she'd get up and make me my own special dinner because I wasn't going to eat stuff that my family was eating. So I was like, "I'm not eating that. So you're going to have to make me something special if I'm going to eat."
With that said, I got to pay tribute right now to one of my favorite spring movies. You know, I'm a seasonal movie watcher, Noah. Summer movies in the summer. We're in the springtime, and that means storms, tornadoes, and it also encompasses my favorite ever food scene from a movie. If ever there were a scene that actually makes me hungry, it's this. It is the infamous Aunt Meg's dinner scene from Twister. And I mean, this is just when you see this right here, and you got like the steak and eggs, you got the mashed potatoes, you got Aunt Meg's famous gravy, which I believe Dusty says is its own food group. This scene right here encapsulates it, and I love Twister. I'm an unabashed fan of the film. I love it. It's like I love storms and like tornadoes and that kind of weather in the spring. There you see it, the steak and eggs. I love it. I love it all.
When you said spring and movie and storms, I was going to say Twister just off the top of my head. It's kind of the only one I could think of. I was thinking, what else could it be? And so it had to be Twister.
And what a scene that just, God, when you see that the steak sizzling, the eggs, the mashed potatoes, and like everybody gathered around. That's one that hits home. That's one that really makes me wish I was more of a foodie. I am trying to expand out there in this world. I've tried. I am like like shrimp. There's a place called the Wharf. We've eaten there in St. Pete Beach, Florida. It's my favorite restaurant. And the grilled shrimp there is fantastic. Like food is something that I feel like people try to push on others.
Yeah, it's like, why
I
can't
would never do that.
mac and cheese or whatever, make fun of me for it, whatever. But like,
But this is
no,
a
you're not
woman
getting
thing.
that. You got to get the shrimp or you got to get the oysters. They're great here. Like, if you like it, you can get as many as you want and eat them and enjoy. And I will get what I want if I can find anything and eat that and enjoy. Like we were in LA and we ate at, I'm forgetting what it was called, something Cutter. And it was, I think it was in our hotel. And I just got like chicken tenders because it was off the kids menu. It's the only thing I could find.
I'll tell you, it is great to see you again. I don't know if the feeling is mutual or not, but hello and welcome to Bash in the Basement. We have not seen you since last year at the Super Bowl. In fact, I think you were there for the taste of the NFL this year again, but you sent Andrew Zimmer into Radio Row instead of yourself.
I felt like you guys just didn't want me. I didn't hear anything. My phone didn't ring. You know what I'm saying? At least my man over here is wearing Tennessee. I know he's on my side.
Absolutely. I had to curry some favor here with you.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim, before we get into anything else, we got to clear this up because you're from Texas, right? You're a fan of a lot of Texas teams, the Rangers, the Cowboys, but also the Longhorns and Volunteers. You got to help us out here.
Well, my son plays linebacker for the Longhorns.
Tannehill.
So that clears that up.
Yes, it does.
And then I'm a volunteer. So that's that. And my daughters are also Texas. So I got a lot of money invested in the University of Texas at this exact moment in time.
I think that definitely covers it. I did not. That is awesome. So how's your son liking it? I mean, Austin is one of the best places, just a great place to live, a great college town, but they're moving to the SEC. So they'll be vying against your Vols at some point coming up here.
Man, we are looking forward to having a UT versus UT game. I got to tell you that.
That's a lot of weird. There's going to be some orange clashing, the burnt orange and the gaudy orange. That's going to be a sore eyes a stadium right there. But that'll be very interesting. So Tim, I know you were at the Super Bowl again this year. You work with the Taste of the NFL. How was the event this year? We didn't get a chance to make it to the event. So how did everything go on that front?
Your ticket to the event must have been right next to my invitation to be on your show. Is that what it is?
You're always welcome on our show, Tim.
It was great, actually. The event was really good this year. We had just a tremendous time. Andrew and Carla and I always have a great time doing that event. And we raised a ton of money. And, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. We had a lot of great players show up, did a lot of cooking, had a lot of fun, served a lot of people. And I was a little worried about the location of the Super Bowl this year, with the golf tournament going on and all that, but it ended up just adding a lot of energy to the whole event. And I thought it was a great Super Bowl, frankly.
Absolutely. Our Kansas City Chiefs, we're here in Kansas City, our hometown Kansas City Chiefs, as you can see behind me, take down Super Bowl 57. Just what did you make of that Super Bowl? I mean, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes battling back and forth, one of the best in recent memory.
I agree. Two Texas guys, obviously, so yes. I like that. And I have to say, we came in wearing the red, so I took it home for you guys, made a bunch of money, which is also nice.
Great.
And, I thought I really, at halftime, everybody kind of thought it was over, which, especially Mahomes got hurt and so on and so forth. They're kind of like, oh, here we go. But I felt like Kansas City came out with a game plan in the second half that just really confused everybody. And it was a simple plan, but well executed. And, he's an awesome coach. You got to give it to him.
Yeah, and kind of before we move on to the food part of this interview, I got to quickly go back because I'm wearing your Tennessee orange here. We made an SEC documentary in 2018 called Saturday Supremacy, but I just want to ask you just what makes Tennessee stand out? You're born in Denton, Texas. How did you get to Tennessee? And then what makes Tennessee stand out within the SEC?
Well, my father moved to Tennessee when I was 10 years old, and he had a farm in a town called Cookeville. And so I would go and spend my summers there. And my dad was a doctor, so he didn't know shit about raising anything. Neither did I, but he made me learn it. And so that's really how I got into cooking, oddly enough, is we raised every kind of animal there is. I learned how to butcher every animal there was. And we had a 1 acre garden that I had to take care of. It was all through my chores. And so I kind of entered the business in a kind of a backdoor direction. Like I didn't come up under anybody famous. I just knew a lot about food that I didn't know. And then I had to learn how to cook it. And so I think Tennessee in itself, every good college is built on a good football program. And when I went to school there, we had a great football program. And obviously Tennessee has taken a dip and had a couple highlights here recently. But, you see, being from Fort Worth, I've seen a lot of kids calling me now, like my friends' kids going, hey, Mr. Love, we know you went to Tennessee. We like Tennessee. And it's because, frankly, when sports do well, colleges do well. Tennessee's got a great basketball team, although they kind of let me down in the Sweet 16. And then the baseball team is amazing. The coach is great. And the football program's back. I'm not saying it's all the way back, but it's back enough. I think really I'm calling the biggest upset of the year. I think Tennessee's going to beat Georgia this year at home.
Hey.
And mark my words when I say that, because I don't think that's going to be – they'll have a market loss, unfortunately, around that. But I think they're going to beat Georgia. I just think that going to that stadium, it's a different thing. And Tennessee's had Georgia's number quite a bit. Not last year, but they played them fairly tough. But I think it'll be a good game. And I love Tennessee. It's got a great program. It's situated in a really beautiful part of the country. I tell people that, man, you can go hiking within 30 minutes, you go camping. And when I graduated Tennessee, I hiked the whole Appalachian Trail by myself. So it's just a great space to live for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. And I think you're going to have to go to that Tennessee-Georgia game because you went to the Chiefs game wearing the red representing us. They come out with the win. You were at College Game Day in Knoxville this past
season. That's exactly right. When we beat Alabama.
Alabama 52-49. So you got to go to that Georgia game and get another big win.
It's going to be it's going to be fired up. I can tell you that. It was the atmosphere this year at Neyland was back to the days when I went to school there. It was just really fun to watch. And, the fans are great. They all show out, which is awesome. And the tailgating is spectacular there.
Well, yeah, that's kind of one thing we learned going to every SEC environment is how closely linked that the food is with the community, with the football program, with the whole experience, whether it be the, like the city market in Oxford, or even a place like the Five Bar in Athens, or the Dixie Chicken down in
at A&M.
At A&M, which with a live rattlesnake. There's something about these places that really endear themselves. And then so like when you put your restaurants like the Lonesome Dove Bistro. And you've got one, I think, in Knoxville, and you've got one in Austin. So
That's
like,
right.
is that kind of part of the thought process, is like indoctrinate these places and make them kind of be part of people's like travel plans and when they're going to football games and stuff like that?
Yeah. Honestly, when I look at expansion, we've got a couple of concepts we're looking to actually really take national. I look at, honestly, oddly enough, SEC towns. I think the vibe of the town, those college towns they have a lot of energy. They get a lot of visits from parents often. Those types of towns that have that deep rooted family to them just seems to be great for restaurants, and people love to go out to eat, right? They come, they set their plans. I mean, you have no idea how many reservations I make for people, not only at my places, but other places around the SEC. When my friends travel around and they're going to, Athens, for instance, or going to Ole Miss, they're like, hey, where do I eat? Can you help me get the reservation? So on and so forth. And it's football especially, but even now, like the SEC basketball program, I mean, Alabama was great this year and Tennessee was great this year. You're starting to see more visits from out of towners, which is awesome. And it's great for those cities. It's great for the thriving business of those cities. And who doesn't like to eat a damn good meal?
Absolutely. And talk about, you're a family man, Tim, and you've created something kind of in your son's name, Tannehill's Tavern and Music Hall. Is there a sibling rivalry going on? Ella and Anna, are they like, when can we get our own tavern and music hall?
Well, they've got a restaurant named after them called Gemelle, which means identical twin girls in Italian.
Love it.
It's a beautiful coastal Italian restaurant, and they were first, actually. And so they're fine not having it named after them. Trust me, they enjoy it just as well. But it's a spectacular venue, 1,100 person music hall, a big lounge in front, and then a restaurant attached to that, plus a private club. We've had some really fun shows there, from Foreigner to Ludacris to, we just had
Fort Worth Music Festival and Conference.
Flock of Seagulls was there. We got Jody Messina on Friday night, which is going to be unreal. So, some great shows and a lot of fun. Even the disco nights, and when for Thanksgiving, when all the kids were in town, we did a big disco night, and all that. Everybody's home, so it was fun.
Well, Tim, the interview that we did back at Radio Row last season in Los Angeles was one of our most talked about interviews. And I know you hosted a show called Restaurant Startup for 3 seasons, and Noah's going to actually pitch you a restaurant here. But before he does, we want to take you back to this interview. It gets a little contentious in a very fun and humorous way when we had Tim on joining us at Radio Row. And we're just going to take you back to February of 2022 and kind of the way that this conversation went, just for a clip of it. And we'll come back and have maybe Noah pitch you his idea.
I feel like I talked a lot of shit.
No problem. Let me puree some frog legs and call it a chicken nugget, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, trick me into some weird concoction of a mozzarella stick.
That's right. That might be it.
Applebee's has the best mozzarella stick, by the way, that I've had.
Oh my gosh, I can't. How much longer is this interview?
Well, we're desperately out of time.
Gringo Dip at 54th Street Bar and Grill, if you've ever been there. It's great stuff.
I've never in my life ever done any interview where I've had somebody who's interviewing me say anything at Applebee's is the best. It doesn't matter what it is. Not an ice cube.
I will say everything else on their menu.
Or a mozzarella stick.
The mozzarella stick, though, you just have to have it. It's delicacy. Fine delicacy, the Applebee's mozzarella stick. I hope you've had plenty since I've turned you on to that, Tim, since our interview. Surely you've visited several Applebee's locations.
I totally forgot about that. I thought it was a different interview. That's spectacular, by the way. Listen, I still hold firm on that, just for the record. Never in my life, except for you.
Well, there you go. You got one.
Person. Lucky for you, I found out my kids actually used to go to an Applebee's for $1 drinks when they're in high school. Probably not a good idea, but they seem to love Applebee's. So there you go. You got one more supporter right there.
I got some fans behind me in this movement to bring back Applebee's. Yeah. One just closed here in our local town. I don't know why. They've got great mozzarella sticks. That should have
kept. It's weird. It's weird that it closed.
54th Street moved right next door and kind of put him out of business really quickly. But my idea, I think I talked to you a little bit about this, but I've kind of got it refined a little more, is a restaurant called The Picky Eater. Not an onion in the building. Your regular, just pizza, tacos, hot dogs, hot ham and cheese. Of course, we got to have mozzarella sticks,
Macaroni and cheese.
macaroni and cheese, some apple slices, maybe a nice basic salad, just lettuce.
Apple
cheese.
slices? What the hell? Where'd that come into play? All picky eaters.
A little healthy.
Picky eaters eat apple slices. Is that the thing?
Yeah,
that's a new thing.
It's like your mom makes you, cut apples into slices for you as a kid because you won't eat anything else healthy.
But Clint, does that mean they have the skin on or off? You have to use one of those things.
Yeah, you got a skewer.
Hey, you have to have the thing with the core comes out. Not, you know what I'm saying? They peel them for you. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Do you think that restaurant would pass the muster there on restaurant startup? Would you give them the okay, or is this a no-go?
I think it goes right next to that Applebee's that closed.
Well, so much for that idea.
First, the picky eater or Applebee's?
So who are you recruiting the picky eaters? Is this like some billboard with your face on it, Noah, or what?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Just everybody come on in. I think everybody sometimes they want a simple meal.
Hold on a second. When we put your face on there, take that Tennessee gear off, would you? Because that's embarrassing. Don't wear my colors up there on the picky eater. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were going to be chef of the place, Tim.
No, that's not true. Well, we don't need a chef.
That's true.
Clint can go up there. Clint come up here and peel the apples. He can do this.
I can boil the water for the mac and cheese. I got it covered, guys. We're good. No, right. that's so that show
picky
though.
Eater. I'm going to put that in the bank just in case.
You never know.
That's right. You never know.
You got all these places opening up. You got them all over the country, Tim. I mean, you might as well just do it. So I got to ask you, as someone that owns a bunch of restaurants, that is the chef at a bunch of restaurants, how do you kind of split your time going back and forth and quality control? How do you kind of keep that going? Because you'd leave people like us there and the place would just go to hell, like it did for the McDonald's brothers back in the 50s when they started losing their quality control.
Pop-Tart?
Yeah, you got to watch out. They, you hire a good team. That's it. It's real simple. Hard to do, but very simple formula. I mean, I've got an amazing team. We got almost 600 employees.
Wow.
And we do everything we can to make those people happy to work for us, with us. I mean, we've got, an amazing benefits package. We got all kinds of bonus programs, but the real idea is, we want to create a drive in everybody. We want people to want to be better. And we say that all the time in our company. It's all about being better the next day. And if we can get everybody to think like that, we can continue to keep growing. Where it's not about, you get the fourth day off of the week, or to me, you gotta convince people to want to be better. And if they want to be better, we can teach them that, and we can continue to grow them, and they're going to grow other people. Right. It's all that attitude of being better the next day. I think you get that. It's really like sports, honestly. It's, and some people can make it and some people can't. And in my world, I'm not the kind that babies people. I'm the kind that nurtures people into being greatness. And, you hop on the train and run with us and get better the next day, or this just isn't in for you. And that's fine too, right? There's other great job opportunities out there. This is a hard business, but you got to love it. I happen to really love it. I don't mind working 14, 18, 20 hours a day. In fact, I really get excited about it. And so most of my team does the same way, and we'd like to make it all the team. And it happens, and it'll continue to happen. But to do things in multiples, especially for us, we're not like Applebee's and we open up 30 of them. We're opening up multiple different concepts in multiple different cities with multiple different dynamics. And that's what keeps our company exciting. It's what keeps especially our upper management excited, because every day is a real challenge. And so it's just like, I really relate it to sports all the time, because, you got to switch up the workouts. You got to make things more challenging, and things got to get harder in order for the team to really be engaged and understand that you want to be the best. Doesn't mean you're ever going to get to be the best all the time, but you're going to be a little bit better the next day.
Yeah. And you talk about just kind of differentiating yourself, not just sticking to one thing. You've got a steakhouse, smokehouse, Western bistro, but you've also opened Paloma Suerte, a Mexican food place, and then Caterina's, which is Italian. So talk a little bit about those two, and talk about diversifying the kinds of restaurants that you guys open.
Well, first of all, I'll tell you this about Paloma Suerte. If you guys ever make it to Fort Worth, Texas, and go to Paloma Suerte, you're going to end up setting up shop there. It's that kind of fun. We'll build you a little room. It's fine. You can do your little thing here like you do it, and we'll set it all up. You just got to be able to survive on 10 margaritas a day. That's all.
Maybe 8, 10, 10's pushing it, but what?
Yeah,
You were there when in
listen,
Rome.
you can't look here. No, you can't come in and drink 2 and think you're cool. It's either you go all in at 10 or get the heck out. You know what I'm saying?
We're very all or nothing people, so that works with us, Tim.
Right. So yeah, Paloma's, it's just a lot of fun. Great Tex-Mex food. The kind of food that you can eat 2 or 3 times a week, you know, and really fun, really killer patio. And then Katarina's is kind of the exact opposite of that. It's 40 seats, New York red sauce joint, super high end, cocktails made tableside. Everybody's in a red, tuxedo vest. Super intimate, no cell phones allowed, jackets required. I mean, it's really, really fun. And I love it there. And everybody that comes in at first are nervous about giving up their phones, right? And then they walk out going, this is the greatest thing we've done. Because it's just a reprieve from life for a couple of 3 hours, and tremendous food, great cocktails. Sorry, I don't know what happened. There you go. And yeah, it's just two completely different dynamics.
It seems to me in the travels, because I travel a lot and go to a lot of different places, that restaurant concepts and creating different atmospheres for people has become such a huge thing. And it's like when you're looking up top 10 restaurants in a city, you're looking at TripAdvisor, you're looking for different things that stand out. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Alaska, but there's a place called the Red Onion in Skagway that's just like this legendary place. And it just absolutely, I think there's like one of Wyatt Earp's guns back behind the bar, and like it just, stuff like that. And you have like extremely diverse. So is there like a marketing team that kind of helps you with this? Like, where do some of these concepts come from?
Well, all the concepts come from my brain. And then we've just recently hired a marketing team this year, which is great. It's a new experience for me. When you come from the way I did things, I don't have any like major investor partners. We started everything from Lonesome Dove in Fort Worth at 50 seats, and I built everything I own in the world from those 50 seats.
Wow.
So it's been a little bit of a slower growth than most people would see. But we enjoy it that way. Last year we opened up 6 places. That was a little taxing. And so this year we're in refine and focus mode. And, but we grow all of our concepts just through my life experiences and travel. And I come home and create things I feel like are great for the city or whatever city we're in. And, you try to just have some intimate attachment to it, that makes it a great experience. And so, we call ourselves an experience company now. We're no longer a food and beverage company. We have a hotel. We've got a live music venue. We do major music festivals all over the world, and obviously restaurants, private clubs. And so now really we build everything around how do we build a better experience. And that obviously is heavy on food and beverage. But we do a lot of other fun things too. Just little nuances that are about your experience that make it feel great.
Yeah, we were out in LA for the Super Bowl where we interviewed you on Radio Row, and we also talked to Mark Summers there, formerly the executive producer of Restaurant Impossible with Robert Irvine. He told us, because we were talking about how picky of eaters we are, and he told us to go to the Girl and the Goat. And when we looked at the menu, he's like kind of in LA Live right there. I saw things like sweet onion brioche, roasted beet, roasted oysters, and we quickly ran over to the Yard House and had our meal there. So
come on now, the Girl and Goat's great. Stephanie Izar is a great chef and a good friend. Yeah, see, you guys need to just go have lunch with me. This is how I do it. Instead of having the Picky Eater, we should have the show called the Picky Eater, where I take dodo brains like y'all out and we have lunch. And then we just see what happens. We could make a lot more money doing that. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. We're into that show. You've got the ideas. You said they're all in your brain. That's a great one. Let's get this in the works.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. It really would be. It's my job every day as like a convincer of getting people who are nervous about, certain things to try them and I'm very good at it. If I know what you like in a ham and cheese sandwich, then I know what you like on the other side of it. When we look at menus and things like that, things that would be intriguing to you, make you a little bit nervous at the end, you come away going, man, I never thought I'd do that. And I want to go back. And so let's make it a goal, boys, that we get you guys out to LA. Go to Girl and the Goat. It'll make her happy.
Well, yeah.
I'm the pickiest eater in the world. Everyone I've met that has said I'm a picky eater, then I tell them about me and they're like, okay, maybe I'm not a picky eater. So
Yeah, we're going to Miami this week for the Sport Fishing Championship. So Miami, Florida. I've only been once. So what can we come to expect? Are we talking about some Cuban sandwiches? What kind of flavor?
So there's a place in South Beach called Porta Sagua.
Okay.
Which you will love. It's a Cuban restaurant. They have amazing breakfast. They have that amazing crunchy Cuban bread. They do really great sandwiches. I would go there, Porta Sagua for sure. And for breakfast, I love it for breakfast. There's also a sandwich shop right across from this place called Club Deuce, which is this old like pool hall, beer drinking joint, shot bar. Across from it, I can't remember the name of it. There's a sandwich spot. You'll love that spot too.
Wow.
And then if you want to go crazy, which you should, right? You got one shot now. You need to go at least check out. You know what? You like steakhouses. You eat steak, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go to Prime 112. That's your entryway.
Got it.
One thing that's crazy. I'll email y'all something fun to get off the menu. I need to look at the menu. It's been a minute, but I've got a boat down there in Miami, so I go down pretty often.
Well, amazing advice. We will definitely take it, Tim. And next time we're down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we will be hitting you up for sure, man. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us again. And hopefully we get to do it in person soon. We will definitely be let you know when we're down there. And maybe when Texas moves to the SEC, we'll come down for a game and we'll go out to the Lonesome Dove and you can show us what we're missing, my friend.
Like, listen, anytime you boys want to have me on, I'm in. Just as long as this fool doesn't keep talking about these dumb restaurant ideas, I'm good.
Oh, stop. That was my one idea. I'm only a one idea restaurant kind of guy. So that was it.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's one shot, one shot.
Well, I have a restaurant idea called, that's like a 50s style diner called Peggy Sue's. Maybe we can talk about that next time.
Next.
Okay.
Next.
Tim Love, please go visit him at cheftimlove.com. He is the best. Thank you so much, Tim. And we will definitely talk soon, my friend.
You bet, guys. Have a good day.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Why hold off? We have a huge announcement coming up here. That's something we're going to be involved in next week. So I want to go ahead and bring this up because next week, Bash in the Basement is going from in the basement to the beach. So Bash in the Basement becomes Bash at the Beach. And that will be next week. We are hoping to go live on Saturday, April 15th from Miami Beach, Florida, from the Fontainebleau Resort, as we will be on hand for the Catch Saltwater Fishing Championship, featuring NFL players such as Tyreek Hill, Chris Jones, Justin Herbert, Dalvin Cook, A.J. Brown, also Matthew Judon, Patrick Surtain II. Could not fit them on the graphic. That is going to be next week. It will be a very special Bash at the Beach, not Bash in the Basement, because we're going live from the beach at Fontainebleau. And what an event this is going to be. It's going to be broadcast on CBS on April 15th as the two captains, Justin Herbert and Chris Jones, will be captaining their teams. I believe they're going to be drafting players from the rest of the roster to join them, along with a few like actual fishing captains or whatever that will be taking them out on anglers. Thank you. That will be taking them out onto the high seas off the coast of Miami Beach. And they will be doing like the catch and weigh system. And who's going to win this thing? Bash at the Beach next Saturday. We leave next Wednesday to take part in this thing, which means we actually
Vince
look pretty
McMahon
cool.
Online too for using that logo. Vince McMahon Online too.
Yeah, that is from the old Beach Blast. So it's a hodgepodge. So we're good there. And calling attention to any of these things is ill-advised. It happened on the Pat McAfee show, and all of a sudden they couldn't use NFL footage anymore. So see ya.
No NFL footage. You're starting to use our logo and things, and people sending in pictures with our logo, and you're showing it on air. Can't have that. It's very weird. The NFL is very weird about all of it as they try to go global and take the Kansas City Chiefs to Germany this upcoming season, where they will take on the Chicago Bears. Your thoughts? Will you be in Germany, Clint?
I will not. I'm a big fan of traveling domestically I'm not ready for European travel yet. I'm not ready for like weird airports and like other
Backpacking
languages.
through Europe.
I'm not ready for it, and I'm not ready to go see the Chiefs. I really, you know how much I despise the NFL playing these games overseas. It's just I understand what's
Talking about
going on.
starting leagues over there and how that would work, a 4-team division over in Europe, a European division.
Oh, you mean like NFL Europe? Weird.
Yep, the Rhine Fire, the Barcelona Dragons, like travel over here for like a month at a time and face some American teams and then go back and do their own interdivision games. And I don't know exactly how that would work, and I don't want it to. So there's that.
Yeah, I'm not up for it. I'm not up for this European travel. I'm not going to be there. I'm just going to be real honest. Unless the NFL wants to credential us for the event, then we will think about it.
How does
Perhaps.
it work with free agents? Like, I don't want to live in Europe. Like, I'm not going there.
Of course.
And so their teams, I feel like, would be lesser than, because they got to pick from the free agent litter that actually wants to go and live in Europe. Like, I'm sure there's some guys, but just a Patrick Mahomes is on the market. Like, sorry, you guys are offering me the most money, but
who's going to win this? Who do we like here at the catch next week? I mean, Chris Jones, from what I hear, is an avid outdoorsman and fisherman. So leg up possibly to Stone Cold Chris Jones. And will he be paired with Tyreek Hill? Will they be on opposite sides? As Tyreek Hill has claimed that he's going to be the Chiefs' worst enemy next season when the Dolphins come a-calling to Arrowhead Stadium in 2023. That Noah, I think there is someone in this room that would enjoy that a little too much, and that person is you.
yes, I will enjoy it. The Chiefs are going to win, but I think Tyreek Hill will be our worst enemy on that day. Could put up over 150 yards receiving with our young corners. I don't think they're quite ready for the tandem of Hill and Waddle to go out there. Can Tua get them the ball accurately? Will he be healthy? Will he even be playing in the game? Will it be Skylar Thompson? Who knows what the Dolphins will have planned or have at the quarterback position then. But yeah, I want Tyreek Hill to come and show off and put up big numbers as long as it's in a loss. I don't want them winning, obviously, but I am a fan of Tyreek Hill, and I root for his success, and I root to play him in the AFC Championship game. Someday it will happen. The Dolphins will get there. Hopefully Tyreek Hill's still in the league when that happens. But of course, I want the Chiefs to go on and win the Super Bowl, but I wish the best for Tyreek.
Yeah, we're going to see him there in Miami next week. His home in Miami, Florida. We're going to be there. Tyreek will be hosting us at the Fountain Blue, if you will, as a player that lived and played in Kansas City from 16 to 21. 6 years he was in Kansas City.
Yeah, last offseason, we got to talk to him. He was doing kind of his last area youth football program here in Kansas City, so we got to interview him there. And now we're traveling down to him and in his stomping ground to talk to him there. And I'll say the same thing I said to him at the youth football camp here in Kansas City. Tyreek, I'll see you in the AFC Championship game, and hopefully this year it comes true.
Well, that remains to be seen for us next week. We want to thank everybody again. Bash in the Basement here. If you're watching on YouTube Live, Facebook, or Twitter, the show's on YouTube when it's completed, of course, and you can get the audio version on Thursdays on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, anywhere you choose to take in your podcast. We appreciate it, guys. As always, a pleasure. Thanks for being on the stream. Thanks for being a part of it. We will catch you guys next time here on Bash in the Basement as it becomes Bash at the Beach next week in Miami.